Hi, my name is Arda. I study computer science at UC Berkeley, and in this video I'm going to be talking about if I think my degree is worth it in the AI era. In the previous video, I talked about how it is like to work in SF at an AI startup during this era, and in this video I want to talk about I'm getting this degree, but is it worth it? If you're watching this video, I'm guessing that you're either maybe a high school student, a community college student, or someone who is majoring in CS but maybe thinking if the degree is worth it or not. The short, no BS, no fluff, straight to the point answer is yes. I think the degree is worth it, but there's a lot more to that. First, I'll start by talking about what I'm learning at Berkeley and if that is applicable to what I'm doing in the industry. During my time here at Berkeley, I got a chance to take lots of CS computer science classes, all the way from basic Python to computer architecture, data structures, algorithms, computer security, internet architecture, computer design, artificial intelligence, etc. To be honest, I don't directly use those information that I learned in class directly in my job that I'm doing day to day as a software engineering intern. However, those classes did help me understand the fundamentals of computer science in general. One example to give is I don't really have interest in computer hardware. I'm more interested in software applications, but in one of my classes, we were learning about the computer architecture and how computers actually work on the 0-1 basis and how you can create your own computer, very basics. And prior to that, I knew that I was somewhat not interested. Taking that class, and I realized that's not really my thing. But now I knew how those things worked under the hood. University is a great place to understand at some level of how those things work under the hood. Now, does this mean that if you don't want to go to college or if you didn't go to college, can you not become a software engineer? Absolutely not. Most people already know that you can be. And I absolutely believe that someone who don't have a degree could, let's say we both want to be CEOs at a Fortune top 50 tech company. I have a Berkeley computer science degree versus someone who doesn't. I 100% believe that we both can make it if we're very dedicated, a little bit lucky, and very smart. But I also believe that I have an advantage by going to a university, understanding the fundamentals, creating network, meeting with people here. Network is really important, especially in the industry. On top of being qualified, you start getting into companies based on who you know. These were true in internships, like the importance of referrals, and it is absolutely true in full-time jobs as well. And I 100% believe that my degree allowed me to make great connections, meet with great people, let me explore so much on this computer science. Because I was going to university, I had a chance to learn about biotechnology, cybersecurity, machine learning, AI, all these different things. I had my summers to do internships about because I was a credible student as someone who was going to university and they were letting me in. Now, we talked about being in the AI era, and maybe you have been hearing people saying CS job market is dead, CS major is dead, all these talks about CS. I disagree with all this noise. I would classify them as noise. It is important to understand signal versus noise when it comes to these things. At the start of the AI era, according to data that we've seen, jobs did go down. Most impacted people were junior, new grad devs. And then AI era happened, and then they were we still need these people. And the job postings actually increased recently, where they're hiring more interns and more new grads, and they're hiring more in general because the space is expanding a lot. Now, I don't know how long this is gonna go for, and I don't really care. What I know is I'm a candidate who is actually passionate about the work that I'm doing. I really enjoy computer science. I enjoy following the latest tech news, the latest things happening in the industry where things are moving so fast. I enjoy actually designing systems, understanding things, building things. That's one of the things that I most like about computer science, that it allows me to build things. Versus if you're someone who wants to major in CS because of the money, you don't really have an interest, but computer science seems flashy. I don't think this is the right path, especially if you go to a university that is not ranked well. What I mean by that, like maybe top 50, top 100 outside of like the universities outside of those rankings. One thing that is for sure is computer science right now is saturated due to like during COVID, it was really popular and everyone was like, oh, everyone should major in CS because this is the best thing ever. And everyone did start majoring in CS, and if they weren't really passionate, if they didn't put in the work, if they didn't have internships, if they didn't have personal projects that are impactful, if they didn't actually try, then things weren't looking well and they're not looking any better right now. I'm not doing any sugar talk, but if you're someone who is actually passionate about computer science and technology, please just ignore these noises. Focus on the signal, focus on yourself, focus on building things, focus on investing in yourself, learning new things. Whether or not things change in the future, if you are a competitive candidate, if you like what you're doing, and if you're good at what you're doing, it doesn't really matter where things head. It is also important to be on top of things when things are changing quickly, like job titles like front-end engineering, web design, IT. These type of job titles are decreasing right now because now with my limited IT knowledge, I can get like what's happening, or you don't need that many IT people. Or with my limited front-end knowledge, I can prototype real fast with the new AI tools, and I can get it to what I'm working, maybe have a designer that gives me feedback and I reiterate on that. It is important to be up to date with what is happening. Another thing to consider is like if you're gonna pay lots of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars for a CS degree at a school that's not ranked really well, or even if it is, that's a big weight. And if you're not passionate about the subject, it is definitely gonna be really hard for you to justify that big amount. What I would recommend in this case is to take the community college pathway if you didn't get into the colleges you want, the colleges that you can afford outside of high school. I have a bunch of videos about community college, check it out. And one last thing I want to mention, I briefly talked about people I meet, but the network perspective of coming to college is probably one of the top things that contribute to me. The people that I meet here, the programs that I get in here, especially being part of Berkeley community, being so close to what's happening in SF, I was able to be included in a lot of different events, a lot of different programs that contributed to my learning about what is happening in the big picture and how I can improve myself to become a better computer science student. And this is something you definitely can't get anywhere else outside of a university, and outside of a university that doesn't have a good CS program. So overall, those are my thoughts about why I think this computer science degree is still worth it in the AI era in 2026. If you have any questions or thoughts or arguments against what I've said, please leave them in the comment section below. I read all of them. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.